Hi there! In this module, we will learn about viruses, which is timely and relevant to our current situation. After this lesson, you should be able to do the following. Define what viruses are, describe their structure, and explain how they cause diseases. Now let's get started. What are viruses? Viruses are smaller than any known cell. In fact, if people were the size of a typical virus, over 225 million of them would fit on the head of a pin. They're so small that they need to be observed using something called an electron microscope. This is more powerful than regular microscopes and can magnify viruses thousands of times. Viruses share similar internal structure, though they differ in outward shape. They have a protein coat which surrounds a core of either DNA or RNA. They are not cells, and they are not made of cells either. They are different from cells because they don't have a nucleus or cytoplasm. On their own, they don't reproduce, respond to changes, use energy, or grow, unlike cells. The way viruses do these things that cells do is by entering a living host cell. In this way, the virus is able to reproduce by using the host cell parts. While viruses can definitely replicate, they can't make their own energy, nor keep themselves in a stable state, nor reproduce on their own. This is what separates them from living things. They are not alive. Now, what do viruses do? Viruses can cause many different diseases, including smallpox, the common cold, chickenpox, influenza, shingles, herpes, polio, rabies, Ebola, Hunter fever, and AIDS. Some types of cancer have also been linked to viruses. Viruses can typically cause a disease in only one species or in a group of related species. This fact has given rise to the hypothesis that viruses may be responsible for the extinction of dinosaurs and other life forms in mass extinction events. While viruses can be dangerous and even deadly, they can also be defeated. Smallpox, a viral disease, plagued human beings for thousands of years. However, in October 1979, members of the World Health Organization gathered in Kenya to announce that the world was officially free from smallpox. How do viruses infect us? One good example to demonstrate virus infection is the flu virus. The flu virus enters your nose and mouth first, then travels to a cell along your throat or lungs. Once inside, it takes over the host cell's metabolism, causing it to make more flu viruses. After thousands of flu viruses form, the host cell often dies, and the new viruses spread and invade other cells. This process continues and repeats itself, and many throat and lung cells are destroyed. This is when you begin to feel sick. Different viruses attack different parts of the body. Chickenpox and the measles viruses attack skin cells, and they cause red rashes. Cold viruses invade the cells that line the nose and throat, and they cause stuffiness and sneezing. Viruses don't only attack humans. Some of them infect and damage bacteria, plants, insects, and other living things too. Examples of virus-caused illnesses. Here are two of the most common diseases that are caused by viruses. Chickenpox. This is depicted frequently in the media and is quite a famous illness since almost everyone gets chickenpox by adulthood, and it is highly contagious. It's caused by a herpes virus known as the varicella virus. The first sign of illness is usually a rash, coupled with fever and general malaise. The most striking characteristic of chickenpox is the itchy rash that forms blisters that dry up and become scabs. An infected person may have anywhere from only a few lesions to more than 500 lesions on their body. The virus spreads amongst people by direct contact or through the air, and it's usually mild but can be more severe in infants and the immunocompromised. Influenza or the flu. This is one of the oldest and most common diseases known to us. It's an acute respiratory illness caused by the orthomyxovirus. Its symptoms include fever, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, headache, muscle aches, and extreme fatigue. While most people recover completely within 1 to 2 weeks, when compared with other viral respiratory infections, like the common cold, influenza causes more severe complications like pneumonia, particularly in vulnerable groups such as children, elderly people, and the immunocompromised. COVID-19. This is also referred to as the coronavirus, though that name is a misnomer. It is an infectious disease caused by coronavirus, and it was discovered in Wuhan, China, in December 2019. Since then, it has caused a global pandemic since early 2020, leading to mass quarantines. It spreads primarily through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. The most common symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, dry cough, and tiredness. Other symptoms that are less common and may affect some patients include aches and pains, nasal congestion, headache, conjunctivitis, sore throat, diarrhea, loss of taste or smell, or a rash on skin or discoloration of fingers or toes. These symptoms are usually mild and begin gradually. Some people become infected but only have very mild symptoms. Most people, about 80%, recover from the disease without needing hospital treatment. Around 1 out of every 5 people who gets COVID-19 becomes seriously ill and develops difficulty breathing. Older people and those with underlying medical problems like high blood pressure, heart and lung problems, diabetes, or cancer are at higher risk of developing serious illness. However, anyone can catch COVID-19 and become seriously ill. Governments of the world, as well as the World Health Organization, are working very hard to develop a vaccine and cure for this virus. The positive uses of viruses. Even if viruses are generally harmful to humans, they also have some good uses. Here are a few examples. We use them as model systems in order to study the replication systems of higher order organisms, such as animals and humans. When our scientists study them, they are able to contribute greatly to our understanding of the body's immune response to infectious agents, and we can isolate them and produce them in large amounts for uses such as crucial vaccines. Now let's do a quick lesson recap. A virus is not a cellular being. It's an infective agent that's too small to be seen by regular microscopes and is able to multiply only within the living cells of a host. Viruses consist of either RNA or DNA in a protein coat. They cause diseases by entering a living host cell and using it to replicate themselves. So by now, you should be able to define what viruses are, describe their structure, and explain how they cause diseases. That's all for today. I hope you had fun. Stay tuned for the next lesson.